Oh, that, no, he's... What are you doing? What are you doing, Husky? Why? Well, hello there folks, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. I'm Little Fling as always, and today we're going to be going over the Minecraft 1.5 patch pre-release. As you may already know, the patch pre-release came out a few days ago on the Minecraft website, which I will leave a description link to, and we're going to go over some of the items. Now this is a very big update, so we'll be cutting it a fair amount, so mind any jump cuts that may be a bit buggy. But let's get straight on with this, and we're going to jump straight into the first item over there. Teleport! Yes, let's go straight into this. So the first item we're going to go over is the Redstone Comparator, or however you want to say it. This is the crafting recipe here. The item in the middle is a Nether Quartz, which I will go over later. It's a new item that is implemented in this version of Minecraft. And then obviously you just got redstone torches and smooth stone on the bottom makes the Redstone Comparator. Okay, so the first mode on the Redstone Comparator is sort of a subtraction type mode. So anything coming in from the right hand side or the left hand side of it, so the sides, these sides here, so as you can see this circuit here is set up, anything coming in from this side minus anything coming in from the back of the circuit, which is where the double prongs are, will be how much the redstone outputs. So for example, if I put a 6 on here, and then as there's a 6 power going into the Redstone Comparator from the right hand side, and then if I put a 5 here, so that's going to be 6 minus 5, and as you can see it's outputting 1 redstone signal for this first part. Alternatively, if you see if I put a 3 on here, the 6 minus the 3 will output 3. Now the second mode of the Redstone Comparator is a little bit more simple. Basically what it does is if the right hand side signal is stronger than the input from behind, you can see the circuit will work. However, if the input from the behind is stronger than the sidewards input, you can see the redstone signal will not output from the front. This works with anything, so if I change the input from the right hand side to 4 and the input from the behind to, well, it's still on 7, so you can see it's not leaving anything on the output. On the 5 it will also not output anything. However, on the 3, as that is obviously lower than 4, it will still output at full signal. Output on this mode is just full signal no matter what, so it's not varied by the amount of power that you're getting from each side. It's purely just if it's getting a signal or not. And if the signal is stronger than the other one, then obviously it's actually going to determine whether it's going to be outputting or not. Next up we have the hopper. As you can see, the ingredients here is 5 iron bars and a chest in this manner, and you get the hopper. Now it looks a lot like a sort of a funnel type thing, and that's pretty much what it does, to be quite honest. It will funnel things into chests. So as you can see here, I've got a few blocks of iron and a lever. Basically, as you can see here, the hopper has, if you right click on it, it has its own little storage system. So it will store things on it independently. So if I just chuck a bit of iron in there, there you go, you'll be able to see that it does actually come up in the hopper, and they do stack just like normal items. So I'll chuck a few more in there. There you go, block of iron. Now the next part of it is if you plug it onto a chest like this, you can deposit stuff into the hopper, and instead of just staying in the hopper, it will deposit into the chest, so it will loop it along. I'm pretty sure this goes about 10 items per tick, if I remember rightly. Actually, I'm not sure, it might be just 1 per tick. Yeah, it seems to be one item per tick, so that goes through there. And then you can deactivate the hopper if it's getting a redstone signal. So if I put a lever next to it, as you can see here, I'll chuck some more items in here, and it will just bounce it straight out the top. It won't actually collect any items from it. So that's a good way of like turning on and off the hopper. This may become useful, I'm not sure if it will or not, but anyway. To place down the hopper, if I just grab one from over here, to place down the actual hopper on a chest or something, you need to shift click and right click on the side of the chest that you want it to go on. Alternatively, you can actually link them to other hoppers. So let's go up onto this hopper here. I can place the iron block in there now, and then it will drop down into this one because the pointy bit on the funnel is actually going into this next one, so that's where it's going to, and then the pointy bit on this one is pointing to the chest, so that's where it's going to go to from here. So there you go, I'm feeding back into that chest. Next up, as you can see, there's the dispenser. So you can put items in here just the same as you would with the chests, and then it will link into the dispenser. Also, you can have like the dispenser linked up to, say, a clock or redstone circuit at the back, so it would just pump up the dispenser automatically, and then whenever an item's dropped in here, it would shoot it out. Finally, another hit feature from the hopper is that you can move items from one chest to another chest. So say if I put this block in here, it will slowly tick down, and those blocks will slowly tick into the hopper, as you can see, and they're ticking out just as fast, so they're moving them all into this chest. So it's a very convenient way of just sort of like transferring things from one place to another, if you do have enough materials for a lot of hoppers, that is, of course. They are fairly expensive with 5 iron per hopper, but again, it's not too much of a big deal. It's kind of a cool little neat feature, especially for like mob traps maybe, that sort of stuff, where movement is required a lot. So next off we have the minecart with hopper, and the recipe for this is just as you'd imagine, a hopper above a minecart, just as you do, say, like a chest cart, etc. Now this item is kind of useful for putting on tracks, obviously, because that's what you do with carts, and also I'm going to show off another little feature of the hopper here as well. So first of all, the second feature of the hopper is that if you can put it above and below tracks. So oh, wrong one. You can put it above the track there and below the track there. So the one above the track here will actually dispense anything from the top into either a chest minecart or a hopper minecart, and as long as it's not receiving a redstone signal, it will dispense into the cart, and the one below it does exactly the opposite. It will take things out of any carts flying above it, and obviously I've got the chest linked up here as well, so it will link it into the chest afterwards. Now, as I said before, that if a hopper is receiving a redstone signal, it will not activate. So if I have this here with the power cable, that will not work. So I think I should have a few, yeah, I've got some iron blocks in here as a demonstration purpose. So if I turn on this lever here for the speed boost, so it just runs around, you'll see that it will pick up, oh, that's the wrong button. You will see that it will pick up ore from the chest over there. So every time it's going around, you're seeing it's gathering another iron block. However, it is not dispensing the iron blocks into here because there's a redstone signal on it. But if I turn the redstone signal off, then it will start to move the iron into the block gradually. But it obviously will slow down here, so it kind of, you know, screws up a bit. However, if we have exactly the same thing but without the speed boost here, put another minecart down and turn this on, this will just go flawlessly. So you've got, it's picking out the iron blocks from here and placing them straight into there every time it moves. So it's a really good way of, like, you know, transferring items from place to place. There's a lot of other things you can do with this, but this is just sort of a brief demonstration of what it can do. Now, this one is called a dropper. It's a bit like a dispenser, however it works in a slightly different way. So as you can see, here's the crafting recipe. It's really cheap. It's just one piece of redstone and a bunch of cobblestone, and this is what it looks like here, dropper. It's got like a little triangle on it. So as you can see here, I've got the dispenser on the left and the dropper on the right, just linked up to a little thing. I put arrows in both of them as an example, because arrows and other things that would come out of a dispenser in a shooting mode will not come out of the dropper in a shooting mode. In other words, that say when you fire an arrow from a dispenser, like so, as you can see, it will fire it just like you're firing an arrow with a bow. The same thing will happen with, you know, like flame charges and potions, etc. However, the dropper will just quite literally just drop the arrow. And Venom put it in a quite good way, that's saying that the dispenser will throw things, whereas the dropper will just quite literally just drop the item. Next up we have the activator rails and TNT carts. Now these go pretty well hand in hand, but first of all I'm going to cover the activator rails. So here they are. The crafting recipe is as shown here, with 6 iron blocks, a redstone torch and 2 sticks. Now, the redstone first feature of this that I'm going to cover is with hoppers. Obviously this will work with other items similar to this, but as I said earlier, the hoppers do not work if they're getting a redstone signal. So as you can see in this chest, I have, you know, another chest full of iron, and there's nothing in the hopper. There's one piece of chest in this iron, one piece of iron in this chest as well, sorry. So every time the cart is going around this track, it's picking up the redstone signal from the track here, this piece of track that I've got turned on with the lever, and this will emit a redstone signal just like a piece of redstone. However, obviously the cart can travel across it. So what this means is that the hopper, every time the hopper passes over it, it will get the redstone signal from this piece of track and it will not activate the hopper. So basically it won't pick anything up. However, if I turn the lever off and this cart goes around now, as you can see, it will start picking up the blocks of iron again, and then it will start dispensing them into this chest over here. When the activator rail is not activated, it will just count as a normal piece of rail. So yeah. Now moving on to the TNT car. As you can imagine, the TNT car is also very sort of expected build. It's just a piece of TNT on top of a minecart, much like it would be in Tekkit or previous mods. Now TNT car here, I'll give you an example of how the activator rails work with it. So if I turn the activator rails on, so they actually emit a redstone signal, as you can imagine, they will actually set the TNT off. However, there is a little trick to this. So as you can see, the TNT is going to go along here and it will get activated as soon as it hits the first activated rail. But there's a little nifty trick to the TNT carts. As you can see, when they explode on the tracks, they will not actually blow up the blocks that the tracks are on or the tracks themselves. They will blow up anything powering the tracks. So for example, if I had the lever closer to the explosion, it could actually blow up the lever and unpower the rail. However, it will not blow up anything that is charged by an activator rail. The flaw in this, however, is that if a cart is, say, on this piece of track and does get blown up, it will still blow the tracks up like a normal piece of TNT would. However, it's only when it actually lands on the activator rails that it won't blow up the normal part of the track. So if I just nudge this here, it will blow up the lever, obviously, but it shouldn't blow up any of the track. However, if I blew up one that was just here, it would still blow the track up. So that's something to bear in mind when you're using these. So again, moving on to a new item, we've got the daylight sensor. Again, this is using the new quartz piece and some glass on the top and a wooden slab on the bottom. It doesn't matter what colour wooden slab you use, they all make the same daylight sensor, which is it's kind of lame but kind of cool at the same time because they do look quite nice as an accessory item, let alone actually their function, which I will go over now. Now, as you can see, all these signposts are numbered. These are just links to command blocks with that time in Minecraft to set to that time. So another bit here, all these things here are linked to this sensor. Now the sensor will emit a redstone signal and the strength of the signal depends on what time of day it is. So if it's like really light, obviously the whole thing will be lit up. However, if the signal is really low, it will come down to one of these few here. And obviously it will gradually increase during the time of the day. So I'll give you a few examples. So say late at night, but not quite sunset. There you go, and now you've only got a few of them lit up. However, if I go to sort of morning, here, one of these two, there you go, now most of them are lit up. And then finally, I'll go over to midday, where all of them should be lit up. Oh, still on the wrong one. There you go, midday, all of them are lit up. Moving on again, we have the trapped chest. Now, I'm not really too sure about the name trapped chest, because this can be used in a lot of useful ways as well as trapping. Obviously, its main function is to be used as a trap, and it's a very good function. Now, the recipe for this is, as you can see, a tripwire here, tripwire hook, sorry, and a chest. And this is not 100% recipe, because you can put the tripwire next to the chest on either side, and it can be anywhere in the crafting recipe. They just have to be next to each other, basically. Now, I'll show a few functions. As you can see here, the trap chest on the right and the normal chest on the left, they do have a slight texture difference, but not too much. Obviously, if you wanted to be really tricky fish, you could just make the textures exactly the same in the texture pack. But this is just the default look of them, so that's a normal chest, obviously. And then the trap chest, as you can see, it's got like a little red bit on there when you close it as well. Now, basically what the trap chest does is it emits a redstone signal when you open it, and then depending on how many people are opening it, the redstone signal will be emitted as much as, or however many people were opening it. So, say just me opening this here will, there you go, just me opening it will set one signal. But if someone opened this while I had it open, the signal would be twice the strength. So I'm pretty sure this goes up to 8 or 15. I'm not quite sure. I'll leave a comment in the description when I've posted. But there is a max number for it, and obviously, so it's a bit like the signal strength for the sensor, for example. So it will emit a certain signal depending on how many people are opening it, rather than what time of day it is or the light levels. Now this is a kind of way that I just got this linked up just for demonstration purposes. As you can see, when I open it, the command block will activate because of the redstone link, and basically it will just give me an iron block. That's the command in there. Obviously this could be used on, you know, pretty much any command, so you could have it so like someone opens a chest and it teleports them somewhere, or it just kills them. Next off, I've got this linked to a hopper, or dropper, sorry. As you can see, this is just a dropper that's pointing upwards. So if I quickly, there you go, so that's a dropper that's pointing upwards, so every time that gets the redstone signal, it puts the block of iron into the chest above it. So yeah, you can just keep spam opening this and getting loads of iron blocks. But yeah, now moving on again, we have 2 weighted pressure plates. The first one of which is iron, and it's heavy, and the crafting recipe as you'd imagine with a weighted pressure plate, or just a pressure plate in general, it's just 2 pieces of iron. And the gold one, which is a light weighted pressure plate, which is exactly the same recipe, just with gold ingots. Now how these work is, the signal that is outputted from the pressure plates is determined by how many items are on each one. So as you can imagine, the light one gets activated pretty quickly. So if I put a few items on here, you'll see it will start to go up pretty quickly. But there you go. And then a full stack of iron, or any other item for that matter, will 100% get 15 along here. As you can see, this is a 15 long piece of redstone, and it lights them all up. But as you can see, this one's quite faint, so it's not getting much power. However, the iron, a full stack of this, will only actually activate 2. So obviously the iron one requires a lot more items on the pressure plate to activate a longer signal. Moving on again, we have the block of redstone, which is kind of expected from the big redstone update. This is made in the same way as like blocks of other ores are made, just with the 9 in a block. Again, same with the other ores, you can make the block of redstone back into a normal piece of redstone times 9 if you do the crafting recipe backwards. So that's kind of a cool thing to note. Here we have a few demonstrations what the block of redstone does. It basically just 100% emits redstone all the time from that one block. So as you can see, I've got numerous different redstone functions coming out of here. The piston, for example, and the comparator and the repeater are all emitting redstone signals because they're facing in the right direction from this redstone block. However, the redstone block will not pass redstone signal through other blocks, as you can see here. So this piece of redstone is through this piece of wood, and it does not emit a redstone signal to this block. It only emits redstone signals to blocks directly next to it. So here you can see a little thing that Ant showed off in his video that I kind of liked, so I'm going to show off as well. Basically, it's just a little system here where the light sensor on the top is emitting a redstone signal, obviously because it's still getting light from that sun over there. So the piston is output. However, when the sun goes down in a second, the redstone block will be pulled up by the piston because it's a sticky piston, and all these red lights here will be activated. So it's a really cool way to get a light that only turns on during the night. So it's kind of cool feature. Obviously it's not necessarily 100% needed in Minecraft because, you know, there's no energy, so it doesn't really matter if you've got lights on all the time. However, this is a really neat way to do it, and props to Ant into figuring this out. I'll quickly just change the time to 1400. Oh, no, there you go, it's done it yourself. So there you go, you can see the lights in action there. The redstone got pulled up and all the redstone lights turned on. So that's all for the redstone part of this. So now we're going to move on to some of the Nether updates. So first of all is nether bricks. There's a new way of getting nether bricks now. As you can see here, it's just a netherrack, and then you put it in the furnace and you get 1 nether brick. Now these aren't the same as the normal nether bricks like that we used to see in fortresses. These are like the bricks that you would get for stone bricks like clay. And they work in the same way with the crafting recipe. You just put 4 in a square and you would get the nether brick. A new item has been added to the nether spawn list, and it's called nether quartz. As you can see, I was showing off earlier, this is cooked in the same way that any other ore is done, nether quartz ore, and you get the nether quartz. Now this is the item that I was showing off earlier that is used in the recipes for the comparator and the daylight sensor, and you can make quite a few blocks out of this, so I'll just go through them and show them all off. First of all, we have the block of quartz, which is just like sort of, I'd say it's more like a lightstone block now, because it's got the 4 items to make the 1, and you get the block of quartz there. So that's quite literally just a 1 bland piece of white block. So it's kind of like marble or something on other mods, but obviously it's been implemented into the game now. So the next part of the quartz is quartz slabs. Just as you'd imagine, it's the 3 on the bottom, and you get 6 pieces of quartz slab, and then it's just a half slab of quartz, exactly the same texture as the other one, just half. So yeah. Moving on again, we have the quartz pillar block. Now this is 2 pieces of quartz, the quartz blocks that is, on top of each other, and you get the quartz pillar. Now this has got a slightly different texture. It's quite nice. It's basically just got a sort of little curvy type thing, and quite literally just does look like a marble pillar, for example, or quartz pillar, I guess. The next one is the chiseled quartz block. Now this is made by using 2 of the quartz slabs put on top of each other, and you get the chiseled quartz block. So this one looks quite nice as well. This is very similar to sort of like how sandstone is now. It's sort of like, you know, more of a sort of Greek temple type thing. Finally, for the quartz, we have quartz stairs. Now you get 4 from the recipe, as you would do with other stairs, and it's exactly the same recipe, just with blocks of quartz. Now these are using the normal quartz texture, so they're just plain white, which is kind of sad. I mean, I kind of hope that in the future we're going to get some pillar stairs, or maybe some chiseled stairs, because I don't really like the bland ones. Moving on, we have 2 new things for command blocks, scoreboards and effects. Now, command blocks are actually something that really new to me. I haven't really gone through them much, so I will not be going over these at all really, but I'll be saying what they do. So basically, scoreboards, you can set up teams for like team game maps type things, and just in general, and you can also use them to quite literally make a scoreboard that comes up on the right side of your screen, so it can measure things like player kills, monster kills, and that sort of stuff. So it's a cool way of making a bit more tournaments. Moving on again, we have effects. So this is like potion effects, etc. So you can add like effects to players without actually using the potion. I'm not sure if all the effects are on here. However, you can extend the duration to longer or whatever than you would with a normal potion, so that's kind of a cool thing to add. For these 2, I'll be leaving a link in the description to one of Ant Venom's snapshot videos, where he did cover these 2 very thoroughly. As obviously as I said a minute ago, my understanding of command blocks isn't 100% just yet. I'm sort of more of a learner when it comes to command blocks, because I haven't really done much with them up until a few weeks ago. So he'll be a lot better person to show you about these than I would. Next we have custom mob naming. Now this is the same way as you would do with, say, tools, etc. So if I get a spawn wolf egg here and a couple of bones, which I will use in a second, I'm going to use the spawn wolf on the anvil and just change his name, just as you would with other items. So I'll just make his name Husky or something, and there you go, you've got Husky egg. Now if I place the Husky egg, he's got a name tag. This works with all mobs, be they passive or not. So I'm going to make him tame. There you go. So I've got a little pet husky now. So that's kind of cool. Next of all, we have inventory management. Now this is a really good thing, because there's a lot more inventory management. Let me just fill up my inventory here with some iron blocks quickly. Now I'll show you off in this chest. So there's a few things to know about this. You can right click, hold right click, and then you can just drag it along now, instead of like spam clicking. So this is a really cool feature. I really like this thing. It works in any way in your inventory, in the crafting, anything like that. And also, if you double click on one of the blocks, you will just pick them all back up again. So voila. Now moving on, more detailed death messages. So just as before, okay, so we've got our husky egg and a lot of slimes. We had a bit of a problem, but that's okay. So we put a few of these huskies down, and we turn ourselves into survival mode, and then we punch a few of these guys and let them start killing us. There you go, let the husky kill us. You will see that upon death now from something that's been named, you will actually receive a message. There you go, shadedgamer was slain by husky. Okay, so a couple of extra things to note is that now we have a few extra lighting options. So we've got minimum, maximum, and completely off. So we did just have off and on before, so this is quite nice. Obviously you can't really see too much at the moment because I don't have like much lighting. It's daytime in the middle of a village, but yeah, you go and try that out for yourself. Next off, we also have new ways texture packs are made. Instead of having one big file for all the items, we now have a separate image file for each item, and this allows to a lot more customization because we now actually have animated textures for pretty much any item we want. So that's kind of really cool. Hoping to see some really snazzy sort of moving texture packs. Obviously this can be problematic though because moving textures will actually lag out your game if you have too many. So yeah, bear that in mind, everyone. Also now in hard mode, in game mode that is, mobs are actually supposed to be more difficult. So it's kind of good because, you know, a lot of the mobs were pretty easy to kill and might make it a bit more challenging the game. So I'm pretty sure things include like that skeletons can shoot faster. So I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new. And also, I'm the Little Fling, as always, and I'll see you next time. Happy Minecrafting. Bye-bye!